Today, of course, we mark the anniversary of the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. 50 years ago today. Our own Nate Rogers was in New York today talking to a couple working very hard to keep Dr. King's legacy alive. Nate, what do you have?
So, Pastor Elaine, tell me, April 4th, 1968, what do you remember?
Just the hurt and the anger.
As pastors now for 41 years, Doctors Floyd and Elaine Flake strive to keep Dr. King's legacy alive. Under their leadership, Greater Allen Cathedral in Jamaica, Queens, New York has grown from 1,000 members to more than 24,000 members. Mr. Flake served as a New York congressman for 11 years. He's also a former president of Wilberforce University. As a student at Wilberforce, Flake recalls driving Dr. King to the school to speak.
He was a man who was far beyond where you would think he was, because he could talk about anything.
Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest far right.
We saw him use the church and ministers as the inner circle of the whole civil rights movement. And so we kind of had an understanding that the church had to be political.
And so they did. Today, Greater Allen's mission goes beyond the church's four walls. The church owns several commercial and residential properties, including this $42 million senior citizens complex. Greater Allen also runs a soup kitchen that provides several thousand meals each week. Now, 50 years later, after Dr. King's assassination, their thoughts on police brutality.
As a mother of two sons who has had to sit down and tell them, you got to be careful out there, you know, if they stop you, be polite.
50 years later, now under President Trump's administration.
I think he has to find a way to deal with people in a way that makes them feel that they are a part of the culture.
50 years later, Black Lives Matter.
I think that those who try to say that their movement is racist, they are just misinterpreting the whole thing. It's not Black Lives Matter only, it's Black Lives Matter too.
And 50 years later, gun control.
Certainly, I think there should be some background checks, mental health checks. I have to have a mental health check to go into ministry.
The Flake's advice to all of us as we remember Dr. King is to continue to love and support each other, as well as to call out injustice of all kinds. In New York, I'm Nate Rogers for Chasing News.
Thanks so much, Nate. Joining us now, Angela McKnight, an Assemblywoman. She represents Jersey City and Bayonne, and certainly on a day like today, the 50th anniversary. Martin Luther King, what does he mean to you personally, and what effect did his life have on yours?
Dr. Martin Luther King is the true inspiration. He is one of my mentors. He persevered. He never let no be the final answer, and he has so many people that still inspired to be like he is just a godsend. And I'm so grateful that we have someone like Dr. Martin Luther King that continues to inspire so many. And it's 50 years and we still talk about him as if he's with us today.
Angela, I have to ask you, you know, his whole thing was peaceful protest, and we don't see a lot of that anymore, at least not the last 4 or 5 years. Do you think his message might be a little bit lost on the most recent generation, or do you think it's still inspiring people to protest, but do it peacefully and effectively?
I think his message still resonates. His granddaughter, who was at one of the youth march recently, she had a speech called I Have a Dream. And I believe as long as we continue to talk about Dr. Martin Luther King, instill his values in our children, we will continue to have peaceful protests to get the word out.
Absolutely. I think we all agree that everybody can learn from his message and his methods. Martin Luther King, it's a 50th anniversary today. Thanks so much for joining us, and continue to be inspired. That's all I can say.